Hello, it is December 30th at 7:50 a.m. Eastern Coast Time. This is a tarot card reading for Alljoynofun. I understand this is your first tarot card reading. I'm very honored to do it. If you happened upon this board and saw this post, I definitely think the universe was telling you to explore tarot or perhaps your spiritual side or the issue you brought to the table today, which is your challenging relationship with Jay. So I'm American, I speak English, but this deck, I have multiple decks. The deck I'm reading with today is the Aquarian deck, and you can note it's in Italian, but I've been reading for quite some time, and I'm very with not only this deck, but multiple decks. I'm very familiar with the tarot, so don't let that alarm you. I am doing the 7 horseshoe card spread today. One reason this is really interesting is most tarot card spreads ask the reader to pull a card to represent you, the querent, or the person asking the question. Instead, this spread actually has us pull a card which represents you and your attitudes in the situation, so we even get a deeper wisdom beyond what I would be able to provide. So the first card in this spread represents the past, and here we have the Knight of Cups, and this actually shows me the start of a new relationship, specifically a love relationship. So I see that you and Jay are romantically entwined. Maybe there's been a sexual component, or that's something one of you or both of you is interested in having with each other as a romantic life. The second card we have represents the present, and here I see the Nine of Cups. This card is showing me that your relationship with Jay is where you need to be right now, and that you do get a good deal of pleasure from it when it's working well. Here we have hidden influences on the situation, something you, Jay, and other people may not be aware of. Here we have the Queen of Cups. The Queen of Cups tells me that you are being drawn in. You're being captivated by Jay. This person is very, very charming. So, although I'm seeing that you are having a good experience with this relationship, I would just keep my eye on Jay's charming abilities. Keep your head about you, keep your wits about you, and make sure you're making decisions based on logic and not necessarily Jay's flirtation or his manipulation of you. So we see here that 3 out of the 7 cards we pulled are cups, and they actually represent relationships and emotions. So definitely very relevant for this reading. I pulled more cups than any other kind of card for you. The next card, as pointed out before, represents you, the querent. Here we have the 10 of Wands. And what this card is telling me that you should not bite off more than you should chew. So while I see that this relationship is very rewarding for you right now, I do see that sometimes dealing with Jay's trying to charm you and use politics to get by with you can be a little overwhelming. So definitely keep your eye on this. And maybe keep the relationship where it is until this is in check. Don't continue to take on emotional responsibility for this person if it's too difficult for you to handle. And maybe focus on this relationship with this person and don't bring any other strong people into your life until you've gotten this relationship to a point where you can manage it. Next, we have the card that represents what other people think of this relationship. And it's very interesting that we pulled a major arcana card because this has to do with other people. So I see the other people and their views. Here I also see Jay in this card since this is an interpersonal reading. What I see with this card is that other people do not trust how charming Jay is. They think Jay brings you in so he can distract you and deceive you. The people in your life do not trust Jay. They think he's very deceptive. And that's something I would keep an eye on. Although you're satisfied now, these traits could definitely lead to that. The next card we have is the card that represents advice. Here I'm seeing the Five of Pentacles, so I do see a loss here. Most specifically, Pentacles, which we see in these last two cards, represent finances and physical stability. So what I'm seeing here is that you should definitely not get involved with Jay on a monetary level. He's going to use his charm. He may even deceive you when it comes to money. Just don't get involved. It will signify a loss. I do feel ambiguous about Jay just because of this hidden influence of his charm. Your friend's feeling he'll deceive you. I think the relationship is working for you now. I think you may come to a financial or spiritual loss if you continue with this person. So I would just be wary. I think this card is telling us that you might be getting into more trouble than you realize with this person. So just be wary while getting involved. And lastly, we have the Nine of Pentacles. And this is your outcome. So this is the final chapter on the novel of this reading. And I see here that basically you'll be living the good life and you'll have financial stability. So what this reading is telling me is that right now Jay has served a purpose, but you need to be very wary of his charming, his deceptiveness when it comes to money. And honestly, you may be biting off more than you can chew if you keep getting emotionally involved with him. So I would really evaluate the relationship and figure out if that's something you need to continue, because it looks like the cards are telling you to at least meditate on that right now. Thank you for giving tarot card readings a chance. I really appreciated reading.